Hello! I'm so excited to share with you that we are going to take some steps forward in reopening our in-person Kids First Children's Ministry at JupiterFIRST very soon. I'm even more excited because of how we are going to reopen, with some changes that our ministry staff believes will make for a much healthier model of children's ministry. Sunday morning worship with a children's church option during the sermon. Here are 2 reasons why our ministry staff is so excited about this model. Number 1, children should have regular developmentally appropriate faith formation. Because kids are mostly concrete thinkers, it's difficult to preach sermons that are understandable and meaningful for kids. When we pull kids into an environment all for themselves, we can craft lessons and relate activities that are meaningful for kids. And they'll be able to discover God in ways that are meaningful to them, as well as helps shape their future of their faith development. Number 2, children should have regular faith formation with their intergenerational faith community. This is best done when kids are observing and practicing many of our spiritual practices with the rest of our church family. Worship through song, prayer, participating in and observing the sacraments, including communion and baptism. Beyond that, it is healthy for kids to develop relationships with people who are older in our church family, just as it is also healthy for those older members of our church family to have relationships with the youngest ones in our church too. This is how kids are authentically welcomed into our community of faith. This is also key for your kids, not just now, but as they are preparing for adulthood. Teenagers who have relationships across generations in their community of faith are much more likely to remain involved and committed to their faith and to their community of faith as they transition into adulthood. So, what does all of this practically mean for you? On Sunday mornings, you and your children will join us in the sanctuary together. Upon arrival, you'll receive name tags for your kids, as well as parent checkout tags, just like you used to receive in Faith Hall. Then, you'll enter the sanctuary and participate in most of the worship service together. Just before the sermon, kids will be invited to join our Kids First team for Children's Church. At this time, we will only be reopening for kids who are 3 years old and fully potty trained, as well as through kids who are in 5th grade right now. Kids who join us for Children's Church must wear a mask for the duration of our time together, as well as they must be able to practice physical distancing. We will take the kids over to the pavilion because this is where we believe we can do our ministry the safest, outside. And we'll have all of our activities as well as our lesson in that space. If there's inclement weather, we will not be able to offer Children's Church, and your kids will remain with you for the duration of worship. If the weather's good and we're having Children's Church, you'll pick up your kids from the playground at the conclusion of the worship service by showing your parent checkout tag. Children's Church will not be offered on the first Sunday of each month, but we plan to offer it weekly otherwise. At this time, we're going to start like a one-room schoolhouse, and eventually we plan to split our group into smaller groups. We will not yet be able to provide any nursery or toddler programming because they're unable to practice physical distancing or mask wearing. You are, however, encouraged to bring those babies and toddlers along with you to church, and we want them to discover that they are welcomed and loved by God and by JupiterFIRST Church. We also have seats available in the family room if you think that that's a better place for your family to worship. This room used to be known as the Cry Room, and it's available through registration at our registration website. Because of CDC guidelines for limiting crowd sizes to prevent the spread of COVID-19, we will only be able to accommodate a limited number of kids in Children's Church each week. You will need to reserve your seats for your entire family in the sanctuary, whether your children participate in Children's Church or not. You can check for availability for sanctuary seating and make your registration at JupiterFIRST.brushfire.com. If you're interested in serving with us once a month, please let me know. We are looking for volunteers to join into our team. And if you have any questions at all, please contact me at marta@JupiterFIRST.org. I'm excited that we can take this step forward, and I look forward to seeing your kids very soon.